Did someone say the Minnesota Vikings were finally too old? Last week, 39-year-old Captain Jim Marshall and his friends closed down the Cincinnati Bengal offense, while 37-year-old Fran Tarkenton managed to complete 17 of 18 passes to set one of the few NFL passing records he didn't already own. With Tarkenton in total command, the Viking offense was enjoying by far its best day of the season. But then in the middle of the third period, a missed audible resulted in the first serious injury of Fran Tarkenton's 17-year career. Number 67, Gary Burley, fell on Tarkenton, whose right leg was broken just above the ankle. Said Burley later, "I hate to be the one who hurt Fran Tarkenton." Number 9, rookie Tommy Kramer took over at quarterback and led the Vikings to 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns. But in spite of their impressive performance, unfortunately for Kramer and the Vikings, this was the day that will be remembered as the day Fran Tarkenton went down. This week's opponent for Minnesota is the Chicago Bears, who last week had their hands more than full with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs led 17-0 at the half, but then a fellow named Walter Payton took over the game. The NFL's leading rusher ran for 192 yards, became the season's first 1,000-yard rusher with 1,129, and supplied the kind of excitement that only a very few ever have. Despite Payton's brilliance, the Bears still trailed until only 2 minutes remained, when Payton showed what is meant by cutting back to daylight. With just 2 minutes left to play, Chicago led for the first time 21-20, and as far as the Bears were concerned, they had pulled out a tough win, which was well worth a full-fledged celebration. But the Chiefs still had another surprise left, as they managed to regain the lead with just 24 seconds to play on an end run by number 14, Ed Podolak. 24 seconds left. Just time for a short kickoff return, a 20-yard pass, and then this bomb from Bob Avellini. Number 88, Greg Latta, caught the ball with just 3 seconds left in one of the year's most thrilling finishes. As Bob Avellini said later, it was a prayer. You win some games like that and you lose some like that. It's best to remain as unemotional as possible. If you get too emotional, you go crazy. At any rate, somehow the Bears managed to stay within 2 games of the Vikings, and crazy or not, game balls were awarded to everyone. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, Terry Bradshaw put on his most impressive bombing run of the season. Number 82, John Stallworth, had the best day of his 4-year career with 6 catches for 126 yards, while Bradshaw found his better-known wide receiver, Lynn Swann, 5 times for 129 yards. Fullback Franco Harris did his part too, as the Steelers rolled to an imposing 28-3 lead at the half. In the second half, a blitz by Gerald Irons put a decided crimp in the Steeler offense. Bradshaw left with a bruised shoulder, as did Cleveland's Brian Sipe. Sipe's understudy, Dr. Dave Mays, came on to complete 17 passes, 3 of them for touchdowns to Larry Poole, but the Browns still fell short, and after losing twice to the Steelers, they must feel fortunate to still share first place with Pittsburgh. Thus far, the Los Angeles Rams have not packed the devastating punch most had expected, But last Sunday against the Green Bay Packers, one blow was enough to boil some bad blood between these two teams. Tempers flared like fireworks on the 4th of July, igniting a rough and tumble affair that witnessed a season's worth of bumps, bruises, and headaches. Los Angeles survived to register a field goal and 3 touchdowns, the longest being this Pat Hayden to Terry Nelson's strike of 6 yards. From the second quarter on, the Rams were never headed because Packer quarterback Lynn Dickey seldom viewed the end zone. Dickey was sacked 3 times and intercepted twice. Number 10 did, however, manage 1 touchdown pass, a beauty covering 65 yards to Steve Odom, number 84. But it wasn't a good day for Green Bay, for not only did they lose the game 24-7, they also lost Lynn Dickey with a broken leg on the last play of the game, an occurrence that will certainly make an already difficult season even more so. You may notice the keg of brandy is missing from this St. Bernard, and that's because it has been all used up trying to revive the New Orleans Saints from a chilling losing season. Against the San Francisco 49ers, injuries forced New Orleans to their 3rd quarterback, and Bobby Douglas, number 10, managed to plead and beg the Saints into the lead. Tony Galbraith's score made it 7-0 in the first quarter. Then New Orleans defense stalled the 49ers offense by driving holes in Jim Plunkett's pass pocket and flooding it. Plunkett was seldom freed of pressure, but fortunately for the 49ers, they had a defense too. The Gold Rush stampeded New Orleans offense into the dust and checked the Saints scoring until the San Francisco offense finally tied it at 7 in the 3rd quarter. Delvin Williams' effort proved the 49ers' only score in regulation play. But in an overtime period, a 33-yard field goal by Ray Wersching enabled the 49ers to breathe a deep sigh of relief, 10-7. So far this season, the Atlanta Falcons have spread their wings and flown with the best in the NFL. Yet becoming the surprise team of the NFC West has not been easy, for Atlanta had to overcome the inability of 3 different quarterbacks to put points on the board. Last Sunday against Detroit, it was the same old tune, this time whistled by a rusty Steve Bartkowski, number 10. Bartkowski failed to fly the Falcons into the end zone even one time as Atlanta's offense managed only a field goal. But this proved to be the spark that angered the Falcons' top-flight defensive unit. All season long, these men have labored hard, yielded the fewest points in the league, yet have still lost 4 games. The storyline seemed to be reading the same as Greg Landry was repeatedly dropped and Detroit runners were often pummeled. But today, Atlanta's defense would change the ending to their sad story. Ralph Ortega's 14-yard fumble recovery rescued the Falcons from a late 4th quarter deficit. Then a brilliant team effort by Dewey McClain and Robert Pennywell, number 59, put the game away for good, 17-6. While rumors are unfounded that Atlanta may allow their defense to go both ways, the idea does not sound all that bad. Not since the Dewey beats Truman headlines had America witnessed such pie-in-the-sky optimism. But the New York Giants crushed Buccaneer fans' dreams as fast as they trampled down Tampa Bay's offense. Glaring errors, both mental and physical, turned the game into another Black Sunday for the Bucks. The Giants converted these errors into enough points to shut out Tampa Bay 10-0 and sent them to their 23rd straight defeat. The Baltimore Colts and Buffalo Bills proved once and for all that boxing is dead. In the tradition of Richard Dunn, Alfredo Evangelista, and Jean-Pierre Koopman, the Lion of Flanders, everyone auditioned as the next bum of the month for Muhammad Ali. In a more serious moment, the Bills rope-a-doped the Colts when rookie John Kimbrough, number 82 from tiny St. Cloud State, raced 73 yards with a punt. The score gave Buffalo a short-lived 7-0 lead as the Colts defense, led by linebacker Tom McLeod, number 52, blitzed into the pass pocket of Joe Ferguson. The good running teams all have unselfish lead blockers like number 48 Roosevelt Leaks, who often paves a clear route for Lydell Mitchell, number 26. Mitchell scored twice and presented such a danger to Buffalo that when he was used as a decoy, the feints opened up the field for quarterback Burt Jones. If promoter Don King is interested, Jones has an excellent straight right hand, and the Baltimore Colts had enough punch to beat the Bills by a TKO 31-13. In Miami, the White Handkerchiefs are back, and so apparently are the Dolphins, whose dynasty may just have been left in suspended animation for a few years. What has been in hibernation is the might and muscle of the New England Patriots, a team many predicted to be Super Bowl bound. Since neither team is likely to defeat the Colts in the AFC East, Sunday's game was instead a fight for the wild card berth. And in a war like this, it's nice to have a battle tank like number 31, Norm Boulash. Miami held New England to 5 points, and Bob Greasy managed to isolate dangerous Nat Moore, number 89, just enough to produce a 17-5 victory. While the Miami Dolphins remained hot, the Washington Redskins looked out at the football world in Philadelphia with a certain cool. Their defense is like 11 pigs in a sty, all snorting, grousing, and trying to root out a turnover. The pickings aren't as easy anymore against the Eagles, and led by quarterback Ron Jaworski, the Green found air pockets in the scavenging Redskin secondary. For most of the game, the Eagles led Washington, but fortune turned when mobile Joe Theismann cut it loose to Frank Grant at the post. As usual, Redskins special teams were superb. They harassed Philadelphia into 3 botched field goals, and number 87 Dallas Hickman spiked a crucial punt. You always get the feeling that when a game is close, Washington will win. Well, that's just what they did as Theismann's touchdown pass to Danny Buggs and the 54-yard field goal pushed the Redskins past Philadelphia 17-14. A young expansion team on the road isn't supposed to win, especially in scary places like New York City. But quarterback Jim Zorn and the Seattle Seahawks aren't your typical expansion team. Against the New York Jets, the elusive left-hander connected 16 times for 200-plus yards and 2 touchdowns as Seattle shut out the Jets 17-0. For the Seahawks, win number 3, already their best season ever, as this surprisingly sound second-year club continues to impress. In San Diego, another surprise team continued to impress. The Denver Broncos, a team becoming so irresistible that its orange-clad fans follow them wherever they go. But away from home, Craig Morton's option play didn't prove quite as successful as it had in previous weeks. Number 71, Fred Dean, clearly was the master of this mess, ultimately stumbling in for the game's first score. San Diego's spirited defensive performance limited Denver to a first-half field goal. Meanwhile, the creative minds on the offensive side were beckoning Denver's quick pursuit one way, then taking advantage back the other. Midway through period 3, Denver trailed by 11. Bronco teams of yesteryear likely would have thrown in the towel at this point, but a true contender always finds a way. Craig Morton's 33-yard pass to Haven Moses narrowed San Diego's lead to 4, a lead that held up until the waning moments of regulation time. Then on 4th down from the Charger 8, Denver displayed its newfound championship poise. On every good football team, there exists that insatiable desire to win. It's one of those necessary intangibles that separates champions from mere challengers. The 1977 Denver Broncos have it. For the moment at least, they share the lead in the AFC West. But there's only room for one at the top. And until further notice, that title belongs to Ken Stabler and the Oakland Raiders. Last week, the Houston Oilers arrived in California needing a win to keep pace in the AFC Central. But the Raiders don't lose much at home. In fact, they don't lose much at all. Fred Biletnikoff bears a strong resemblance to silver and black flypaper with number 25 sewn on. But even sticky mitts like Biletnikoff's occasionally let an easy bugger slip away. "66 yards down the pike, number 22, Zeke Moore, gave Houston a third-quarter lead. 6 times the lead changed hands. Oakland pounded the ball across on short runs by Mark Van Egan and Clarence Davis, while Houston opted for scores of a more spectacular variety. Oakland's secondary can be beaten. However, discretion is advised, for world champions don't relish being embarrassed before the hometown crowd. Too late, Billy. Jack Tatum already got your number. And so it was that Houston's late fourth quarter drive to win the game, a pass to Billy Johnson, met with a fitting conclusion. The seesaw tipped for the final time as Jack Tatum laid waste to Houston's upset hopes. Like Denver, good teams find a way. Neither the Broncos nor the Raiders won decisively. Still, they won. And in the final analysis, nothing else matters quite as much.